You can rest assured of your child's excellent performance when you register your child with Janan Schools, Bombo Karule Campus and Kabalagala. Due to their firm educational background, we have the best facilities in both arts and sciences, fully updated to the latest sector standards, right from Senior 1 to Senior 6, in an environment that offers a chance to apply practical skills in all fields. That include a computer lab, introducing our students to the tech world, a well-organized science laboratory, a fully stocked library with all the essential books a student may need, a model farm to equip students with all the basic knowledge in agriculture, plus extra vocational skills. We promote co-curricular activities in sports like badminton, table tennis, basketball, volleyball, chess, and many more other activities. Register your child today at both campuses in Bombo Kalule and Kabalagala campus. For more information, contact us on the numbers below.
Good afternoon, our viewers. We thank you so much for subscribing to our TV here at Beck Television. Please, whenever you open a story, don't forget to subscribe. I understand so many times people are so addicted to smoking. Many of them want to find ways of quitting it completely. However, some of them have no options. Civil society organizations, lobbyist groups, policymakers come up with policies and laws to quit smoking. But unfortunately, sometimes things fail. Here we have Joel Sawa and Amading Rebecca from Tobacco Harm Reduction. They are here to advocate for safer use of nicotine products. These products really, they are brought up to help individuals who are smoking to reduce with a gradual process. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
The audience is yours.
My name is Joel Sawa, like she has very rightly introduced, and I am the team leader for Tobacco Harm Reduction Uganda. We are an organization that advocates for conducive environment for low-risk nicotine alternatives. The current law as it is an inhibition to access to these products. The law has a blanket ban to it that does not allow these products to be available easily on the market, and hence our advocacy so that we're able to appeal to lawmakers and policymakers and policy influencers as well to see the plus side of these products, so that we progressively, even as we engage stakeholders inclusive of the users themselves, so that progressively we can come to a point where the country can have these products readily available to users, so that we can see as we progress towards a smoke-free country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like as Uganda, because I understand these products mostly come from other countries, and here in Uganda, people are not so adaptive to them. Which lessons do we learn from other countries, for example, UK?
Okay. Like I keep sharing in various forums, the UK as a country is a leader, a global leader in accepted clinical and medical practices, as well as a contributor to the WHO's standards that we adopt as members. Okay. Unfortunately, we come from a region that is third world, and many times the third world, or rather the low middle income earning countries, tend to be receivers as opposed to contributors. Okay. So we are on the receiving end of information and policy that is already passed by the first world. So in this case, the UK has taken a step of adopting THR policies and strategies as a backbone to their public health, especially in relation to tobacco and effects related to combustible cigarettes. We find that the UK has endorsed products like vaping, electronic cigarettes. Electronic cigarettes are readily available even in some medical institutions like hospitals. They actually put posters, very huge posters in several places, advocating and encouraging smokers to switch from smoking to vaping. Vaping is a term that is used to mean the use of electronic cigarettes. because electronic cigarettes do not have the combustible element that is in cigarettes, and it does not have tobacco anyway. It is vaporized nicotine that somebody inhales and ultimately receives the intake of nicotine that they would otherwise get from what? From smoking a cigarette. Just by lighting a cigarette, over 70,000, there's a chemical reaction that is what? That starts with over 70,000 chemicals being produced. 40,000 of these are said to be carcinogenic and harmful to human health.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, like for example, we have victims out there who are hidden. People no longer come out in public smoking. What do you think are the health benefits that they will get from this?
Smoking has stigma. That is true. We can see clearly that people are not accepted easily in society when you smoke. You will not stand in public places. Because why? Because already it is known that when you're near a person who smokes, for some people, yes, it doesn't smell good. For starters, even the person who smokes themselves, their hygiene sometimes is questionable. But actually, there's some clean users. There are people who are in the corporate world who smoke. They don't necessarily have that smell that people have that comes from cigarette smoking, because for them they're able to enhance it by having good colognes that mask the body odor that comes from a cigarette smoker and things like that. Even dental, there's a smoker's toothpaste, right? It makes people don't have stained teeth anymore, so you might not necessarily know them. So then they have to fall back and smoke in secret. However, if we adopt the use of low risk nicotine alternatives, then we will come to the point where people will no longer need to hide themselves. Why? Because some of these negative effects are not present. You will not harm somebody by using an electronic cigarette. Nobody will be affected passively in the environment. So if I was using an electronic cigarette from where I'm seated and where you are right now, if I was using it, even if you inhaled the vapor, it will not cause you any harm. At least that is proven. That is a proven fact. However, these are progressive researches that are coming out from time to time. But one thing is for a fact: vaping is proven to be 95% safe. Okay, research has it, and this is a good thing. Why do I say this? It's a good thing because, again, this advocacy is not aimed at people who no longer smoke.
Okay.
This advocacy particularly is aimed at people who are already active smokers. Just like my colleague had said in a previous interview, this advocacy is aimed at people who are already active smokers. Why? Because the community of smokers understands the need for getting a product that is going to be beneficial to them, especially health-wise, but also for those who are hoping to continue their intake of nicotine. They continue taking without the risk element attached to it. Because as you remember, we've said this several times, everything has relative risk. Many things have relative risk, basically. In the 21st century, one of the biggest aims of mankind is to reduce death. So, I mean, if you're driving a car, there's risk attached to that. Okay. You can get into an accident, you can die. That's why you have insurance, to mitigate any resultant harms that comes from that. That is a form of harm reduction. That's why you have seat belts in a car, so that upon impact, the degree of impact is reduced to lessen the degree of damage or harm to yourself. That is harm reduction. There's brakes in a car, so that you don't imagine driving a car that has no brakes and you're going downhill. That's crazy, right? So that is so let's treat harm reduction like those speed brakes, those speed bumps that keep you in check progressively as you walk your journey towards either quitting, or as a consumer who actually loves nicotine, towards safe consumption.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand this is not an easy thing to do, to put out there to the public to adopt easily. What are some of the possible challenges and concerns that come up while advocating for this?
Myths. Mostly it's the myths that people have. People generate various stories. I mean, like there's this existing myth that electronic cigarettes can cause lung disease. EVALI, it's called electronic cigarette vaping associated lung injury. But you see, and things like that. But this has already been, this is a myth that has already been busted by proper research that is out there. This started in countries in the US, where people, as a result of innovation, came up with a product that that puts cannabis, marijuana cannabis into vaporized form.
Okay.
So young people feeling like, it would also be stylish, because vaping actually has, it produces a cloud that looks like smoke, but it's not smoke, it's just vapor. So because of this, young people who are seeking to be adventurous came up with a product that has cannabis in it. So instead of smoking cigarettes, they're smoking weed, you'd say, but in vaporized form. Okay. Now, that led to, unfortunately, that weed is not, cannabis is not is the way the thing they developed had complications, and it was toxic to human for human use. And that was those were some of the first cases that were registered of lung related injury as a result of vaping. But this was not, those particular vape products were not from were not nicotine vapes. Nicotine vapes that are properly regulated and properly manufactured have a history that does not relate to lung injury. Okay, so anything else that comes from the black market and comes from illicit production, you see, we're not, why we push, one of the other reasons we're pushing for regulation is because of the black market. In Uganda there's a black market for vape products. I mean, that by our engagement, that that electronic cigarettes are banned. We accept this and we're talking about it. But do you also know that there's a black market for electronic cigarettes? And it's thriving.
Culturally, we are going to adapt to it.
Well, like you've said, let me first start by saying, you see, Africa would not be such a bad place to be, except for the fact that there's prevailing poverty. It's like we have a cloud of poverty looming over us. That's not a good thing. How do they call that in Uganda? Is it omutambo?
Omutambo?
What is omutambo?
Echitambo.
Echitambo. What's echitambo?
The generational thing. The generational thing.
Poverty, right?
Poverty.
Things like that.
It's a vicious cycle of poverty.
Yes, it's a vicious cycle of poverty, exactly. Now, unfortunately, even according to our research findings, the most affected people, the most smoking people, are the poor people. The people in the villages, the people in the slums, the people who are low income earning, the people who struggle a lot to make just 150,000 shillings a month, 200,000, the askaris, the soldiers who are who low cadre soldiers, the employees who are earning the least. Those people are very susceptible to smoking. Why? There's a very huge association between depression, struggle, and smoking. That diffuses nicotine into their system, and then progressively somebody gets the same nicotine that they would have otherwise gotten from smoking, but without necessarily smoking. Now, people there don't die. They don't have oral cancer. They don't die from the harmful effects of cigarette smoking. Actually, it's one of the countries that records the lowest mortality rates in relation to tobacco. Now, there was even a consideration that maybe this is a country we should be benchmarking on when you talk about things like, say, low risk alternatives, because it has recorded a win.
Sweden.
Yes, a public health win.
Okay.
Yes.
I have only two more other questions and then we let it go.
Okay.
Could you please specify for us the age bracket?
For these alternative nicotine products.
Exactly, because someone might adapt smoking at a younger age. Is it suitable for them to use these products?
Okay.
And then maybe what could be the last one is, I personally, I have never seen those products. I don't even know how they look like, the nicotine products. Do you think there is market here in Uganda?
One, we don't encourage the young. We don't encourage the youth, the young to take in smoking. So just the way there's a limit on smoking when someone starts smoking, it's the same way we do not encourage the youth, the young people to take up the nicotine intake. our main goal is to see that there is a smoke-free Uganda. Yeah? So this one cuts across. So if we are helping, if it is a method, a way to see that the ones who are actively smoking either quit or in a process they reduce the intake of smoking. So we really, there is no age when it comes to the nicotine intake.
Oh,
we don't really see that the age aspect comes in. We don't, yeah.
Well, the black market are not regulated products. We do not know what content. We do not know what they contain. We just talked about EVALI, the lung-related associated injury. Okay, those products were not. Those products were illicit. They have vaporized cannabis they have vaporized cannabis that affected people's lungs and led to injury, popcorn lungs and things like that. Now, if those same products are in this market of Uganda, are on the black market of Uganda, can you imagine the kind of harm and damage they are going to cause people? Why? Because we have decided to we have decided to not discuss this thing. Yet, if we discuss it and allow for regulations, just like we did for Waraji, and I thank God, you know, our president is visionary. Yeah, our president is visionary, and his advisors are also visionary. I actually appreciate that. Okay, I appreciate that because progressively, even though there's been error, there's always room for address.
Yeah.
There's always room for progressive engagement. Initially, Waraji was a very illegal thing. People were taking it in hiding. Taking Waraji was stigmatized. You are a lost cause. You are done for. But ever since the government, the administration allowed for stakeholders to talk and see and engage and actually have regulations around what is the right form of Waraji to be in the market, what will not cause, what is not going to be harmful to people. Names like Yokozuna disappeared. There were tote packs that were called things like that, Yokozunas, that had no UNBS certification. They all disappeared, and ultimately we had legal Waraji that was out there. You remember a time when people would say I was at the bar, I was drinking, and then I thought the lights went out. Kumbe I turned blind. Yeah. But how often do you hear news like that nowadays? Is it there?
No.
Are people dying impromptu? I hear the guy went and slept and never woke up. No, they're not there. Why? Because the government has had so much input in these things. The truth is the government is concerned about the well-being of the people. That's why, you see, in as much as I am questioning the law of 2015, like I said, we accept that it has had its benefits. But we are also saying that there is so much benefit that lies in accepting the adoption of safer nicotine alternatives. It will help lessen the health burden. Earlier, we were looking into the cost of upon the government in making sure that people are safe when people are dying and falling sick because of health complications that arise as a result of cigarette smoking. And we found the burden to be at how many billions? 100 and what? 108 billion Uganda shillings annually. Annually goes to the health budget that is allocated to people who are suffering as a result of cigarette smoking and related illnesses, both deaths and illnesses. That's a lot of money. Now, if safe consumption of nicotine is introduced, less people will be sick, fewer people will be dying, families will be, the benefits will outweigh the demerits.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So these are the things that are worth considering.
Oh, okay. Quit smoking.
Agreeable.
Quit smoking. If you can't quit smoking, there are so many other alternatives of quitting it in a gradual process.
True.
Like the use of safer nicotine products. And here at Tobacco Harm Reduction Uganda, advocating for that with Rebecca and Joel Sawa. Please don't die alone there while you are fighting with the habit of smoking. Come out and reach out to these people. they are so helpful to us. We have come to the end of our show. It was good hosting you, Rebecca, and Joel.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, here at
And don't
Big
forget to
Television.
subscribe.
Please subscribe, and actually, you guys, you have to subscribe right away from
We
here.
are going to subscribe.
We thank you so much, our viewers. Subscribe to our channel at Big TV. I remain Naguja Serena.